Hey guys, it's Maria Park, and this is Approach the Nerd, and we are doing, sadly, emotionally, our very last ever Black Lightning CW style review because it was the series finale tonight. And I am in my feelings. I'm gonna tell you this. I also read earlier today that Painkiller did not get picked up by the CW, and unless HBO Max picks it up, that means that we will be saying goodbye to Khalil as well. And that is really messed up, especially since we got this announcement on the same day as the series finale of Black Lightning. That was very poor timing, if you ask me. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Though I did see that Naomi did get picked up, Naomi's a relatively new DC character. I haven't followed her. I know that she's been bouncing around different in the Justice League. Very Omega level OP apparently. Superhero, a teenager who doesn't know how to use her powers. So it's gonna be, it really should be a good series, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in my feelings that they did not pick up Painkiller. And so, yeah, no Painkiller for us. And that effing sucks. But I mean, there's something to be said for the fact that this series finale pretty much was better than almost all of the Flash. like seriously. It starts off, everyone thinks that Jefferson is dead because remember Tobias called JJ's phone and basically sent a picture of him beaten to a pulp. And so they are like, yes, he's dead. And actually he wasn't dead. As a matter of fact, something happened to him that is one of my worst nightmares ever, being that I am claustrophobic. He was buried alive. Like no powers, buried alive, strangely calm. I mean, he did freak out a little bit. Tobias, somebody help me, but he was very calm. I would have passed out every 2 seconds. I would have screamed so hard. I mean, I'd lose more oxygen and die faster just because I was freaking out. So I got to give Jeff props for that. But Tobias did this whole Donald Trump speech. He wants to make Freeland great again. I'm like, like, I can't handle this. I'm like, I can't handle it. I'm like, that entire speech had me in my feelings. I was like, oh, no, I can't do it. But so let's just break down like all the little things that happened because it went pretty fast. Lopez, we saw her take a meta booster in the last episode. Well, it's energy absorbing powers. Now I will say I loved this episode, but a few of the plot points and some of the characters were underused in this series because it was the last season. And I think with Lopez, she was a very underused villain. And what I mean by that is it was obvious that she was in her feelings about metahumans. She made this task force that I swear only tried to arrest Lightning. She took the meta booster and was going to have this big epic thing against, Lightning, which lasted about 5 minutes. So she was very, very underused. Her momentous, all of her buildup was for a 5-minute fight. Yeah, she hit one of her task force cars. She didn't hit Detective Shakur's though. Don't ask me why not. She didn't hit him, but she hit the person, the cars behind her in their task force, blasted them with electricity. Lightning shows up, literally takes her out in under 30 seconds, and bam, there's that. So I'm just saying that's how fast Lopez's storyline was for me. She was probably in like maybe 4 episodes this season, and that was it. They probably could have just done without Lopez, to be honest with me, and it would not have made a difference to me. Now they knew where the emitter was because Gambi is, he's the shit. That's what he is. Gambi is, he is the OP. So he found the emitter. It was located in West Freeland in this mausoleum, Tory Mausoleum, an industrial park, which the Drake Stone security people were watching, and they had to go break in. And Nissa haul-ass threw a grenade over the wall and set this guy on fire. Grace snapped somebody's neck. See, Black Lightning, they don't care about killing, which is so funny because Jeff had a flashback about a code where he talks about how he wanted to get rid of his powers to Gambi because he was attacked when he was younger by a young man in the 100 who pulled a gun on him, and in self-defense he electrocuted his ass, and Gambi was burying the body. And like, so they just had this whole thing with the code, and we saw Jefferson had this really sweet moment with his dad, but like, and this whole ass set somebody on fire and Grace snapped somebody's neck. I mean, I guess it's like just, Jupiter's Legacy. If you haven't watched my review, the code is only applicable to the older ones, the first generation, because the younger generation don't get $5. They kill everybody. They don't care. So they ended up destroying the emitter. Gambi put some plastic on it and blew it up, and they instantly got their powers back, which is good. We needed them to get their powers back because this is the series finale. They didn't even get 2 hours. They got a whole, if you think about commercials, 48 minutes with commercials. So they had a lot to do. And I really think with the limited time that they had, they accomplished a lot of the stuff. Like, we all had theories about Jen. Come to find out, JJ was not Jen. JJ was a being from the ionosphere, calling herself, I guess she said, the grave. And she was jealous because Jen kept coming up there sucking all the juice and then going and living her life. And, the entity JJ didn't have a physical form. So basically JJ hijacked Jen's DNA and memories and became Jen. So all the times we saw her going up there and something grabbing at her, that was Jen trying to get back. And finally she went up there and JJ went back up to the ionosphere, which is stupid, by the way. If you are an entity of the ionosphere, why in the hell are you going back there when you know that you are from the ionosphere and hijacked somebody's body? Like, that just seems kind of, I kind of feel bad though, because the actress who played JJ I thought was really adorable. So it was a good plot twist that JJ basically was Bizarro. I mean, that's basically what JJ is. She's Bizarro. And tried to take over Jen's life, and Jen came and did her comic book move, or her whole body is absorbed in energy, and she basically zapped the shit out of her. I wish they had showed the spikes like they do in the comics. That would have been cool. But Jen, that fight scene was cool. Poor TC got like zapped by JJ, which is kind of messed up, because I thought even as a villain she kind of bonded with him a little bit. So we can see that she was just mimicking emotions. She obviously didn't have her own emotions, because she would never have been able to do that to somebody she thought was a friend. So it's a thing. But I will say this. There are a lot of things that happened in this episode too, and we'll get to Tobias in that in a minute, that I thought was interesting. I love that Jen took accountability. Like, she was in her feelings that only her dad realized something was wrong. You could tell that she was butthurt about it, but then she did take accountability, and she did say, I shouldn't have had my butt up there to begin with. So I was cool with that. Lynn and Jefferson are getting remarried. I'm cool with this. I know we need a happy ending. I am so happy that Lynn apologized to Gambi too for blaming him for everything that went, for Jefferson being Black Lightning and everything wrong with her family, la la la. But I guess my problem with that is the whole thing with Jeff and Lynn is they have a toxic as hell marriage. And like, yes, they were seeing a therapist. They didn't resolve anything with said therapist. Even when he asked her if they wanted to get remarried again, she was like, no, she just redirected it to sex. They fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. But now they're like, well, he was like, well, I was buried in the ground, so I had time to reflect. And she's like, losing your father, put things in perspective. I always want to stay by his side. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I thought before he went to go and fight Tobias, you had already had this love declaration. And I think in my last review, I even said it was weird that Lynn was like, I love you too. All right, well, go do you, boo. Go do what you do best. Go get killed because you don't have any powers. And I'm completely okay with this. So that to me, it was a little weird. But I know because it's the series finale, Jefferson has to have a happy ending. So yes, he gets the woman. Him and Lynn are getting remarried. We got to see Grace and we got to see Thunder, or Grace and Anissa basically have another wedding with everybody there. And they dressed in their little white, Grace had on a white suit, and then Anissa had on a white pantsuit. It was cute. So we did get that moment. So we got them being married. Jefferson and Gambi are retiring now. They have decided to pass the torch. So we have Wild Thunder and Lightning as new Freelands, protectors. And then of course TC is going to be like their they're Gambi, even though Gambi's like, I'll still be around, but they're like, they're like, they're going to be at first I was like, okay, are we going to have like an outsider show that they're not telling us about? But I mean, we've got no news. Like even with Painkiller, since Painkiller was passed on by the CW, I don't know what the hell the CW is doing. Now, somebody had said that they would like to have Painkiller. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago when they were talking about when we were seeing like all the cool scenes in Black Lightning, they would like to have to go to HBO Max. And the article I read thought that maybe HBO Max would pick it up too, but I don't think they will. I don't know why. I just don't think they're going to do it. And I think it's a missed opportunity and very, very stupid. And the fact that the way they ended it, it seemed like they knew that, but we don't like, okay. So like TC went to him and said he had a way of basically getting rid of the kill switch. And the only way to get rid of it for Khalil is that he cannot remember anything about the Pierces anymore. So Khalil's like, I always knew I would die for that girl, meaning Jen, but I didn't think I'd have to forget her. So he never even met JJ, which is a good thing. But finally we got the real Jen back. And now Khalil basically went through the procedure to get rid of Painkiller. I'm wondering if that was an added on scene. Like maybe they knew by the time they filmed that they were not going to pick up the show, but it seems like that announcement was like just made. So the way they ended it, it looked like there wasn't going to be a Painkiller inside of him. Like they were taking it out, like taking Painkiller out or separating the kill switch or whatever. Or the kill order is they were just getting rid of the kill order to kill the Pierces, which is probably what was really happening. He was erasing it. By erasing the kill order, you erase all of the Pierces and you have the memory. I guess if he ever remembers them again, then the kill order comes back. So technically he is keeping Painkiller. I don't know. It was very vague. So I'm going to say that's probably what it is. By getting rid of the kill order, you get rid of the Pierces that you're supposed to be killing, not getting rid of Painkiller, but making it so he can never kill Jen or any of the Pierces. So that's probably what it is. But I mean, it's just sad because we're never going to get resolution. Like right now, Odell and Maya are out there running this city. And that's just it. That's all we get. We get nothing else. The fight between Jefferson and Tobias was absolutely hilarious to me because Tobias, if he couldn't like punch Jefferson, he was tripping him with chairs. He was hitting him with bottles. It looked like an old West fight between two drunkards who didn't know how to do like, I don't know, drunken kung fu. It was funny as hell. And I knew with that window, when Jeff came busting through that window, I knew that's how Tobias was going out. He was going out that window and he got impaled. He got impaled. And even impaled, he was still trying to shoot Jefferson. And he like electrocuted the metal, metal's a thing, and ended up impaling Tobias. And so Tobias, is dead. I don't know if he's dead, but for right now, he's dead. But again, Black Lightning produces Bebe's kids. They don't die, they multiply. So I don't know. He might still be alive and just appear randomly and they'll just have an explanation for it. But Lala was the last man standing. Lala, he got un-Han Solo because I guess the carbonation thing got broken. And so he came out, walked over to, the window, looked down at Tobias and said, somebody finally took your ass out. And I thought that was a really interesting way to end that. The end of the series was by him making that statement. So Lala got the last laugh at the end, which is kind of funny. Back to Jefferson being underground and having the flashback in the sweet moment between him and his dad giving him courage to go basically take on Tobias. I love that how he actually got out was by supercharging himself with Prometheus that was underneath the ground, which conveniently helped him because he was buried underneath the ground. But I will say, had Gambi not gotten rid of that emitter, Jefferson would be dead right now. And I don't know how that pep talk would have gone with his dad because he wouldn't. There's no way. There's absolutely no way he would have been able to get out of that ground. And everyone already thought he was dead. So, but Jen saying that the dad was the only one that thought something was off made me really think that they really believe stuff at face value. Like they have a picture. They're like, oh, he looks dead in the picture, so therefore he must be dead. Like none of them were like, let's go find the body. Let's produce a body and see where's the body of dad. No, nobody did any of that. So I don't know. It was interesting. It was really, really interesting. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really did love this entire episode. I just have, how I am. I like to like nitpick stuff. I mean, and this is getting shot with next gen DEGs, and somehow she didn't die because her suit he did make her suit to be able to like be able to handle the DEGs they knew about, but these are supposed to be next gen, like 50,000 times whatever stronger, maybe higher percentage than that. It should have killed her. So like, but for plot purposes, you can't kill Thunder. Can't kill Thunder. You just can't. But yeah, there's just, like I said, it was a very, very good episode. I mean, it flowed very well. The fight scenes, I gotta say it. The whole fight scene between Jefferson and Tobias was ridiculous. It was just effing ridiculous. And I kept thinking to myself, the emitter is down. Yeah, Tobias probably doesn't know that, but why does he not keep Val near him? Her actual metahuman ability is to be a power nullifier. So why would he not have that in his office or have something kind of machine that does the same thing around him? Which means when Jefferson came in the building, he no longer has powers. And the only reason I'm saying that is Tobias is basically playing a game of chess. And normally when you play a game of chess, you have things on the board at all times. You have a plan B, C, D, E, F. You have a G to accompany F. So it's a thing. Val was the, I'm pretty sure her name was Val. She was the Asian assistant that was the power nullifier. I thought her name was Val. I may be getting her mixed up with somebody. Hold on. Make sure I'm saying the right name. I thought her name was Val. Val. Yeah, Val Song. She is Tobias's assistant and lawyer was Val. So she was the one that that Lynn got extracted her blood and actually made it possible to power the emitter with the nullifying, agent, because she's her meta ability was that she was a nullifier. And she was in the speech, like when he's standing there making the let's make Freeland great again freaking speech, she was standing in the background. So Val was still there. So it's interesting. It is really interesting. I would have loved to have seen too the reunion with Jen when Jen came walking the door and like, wait, what? What the hell? I feel like they had to cut it for time. I think that this probably was a lot longer, but they had to cut out stuff for time. And that's something they should have left in, because having China come back, which is very appropriate. She originated as Jen. She should end it with Jen. Having her come back at the end, that should have been a big deal. But like after she defeated JJ and went and checked on TC, she jumped up in the air, went and found Lopez, beat Lopez's ass, then went home. And I guess she went home. She was just, that was it. We don't see her again till the wedding, and she's sitting out on the balcony. And I'm like, that is a missed emotional opportunity for this family, because the family, it's the Pierces. It's always about the Pierces. I could have had less of Jen having flashbacks of them running down the street and doing all this stuff, and more of their actual reunion. And we didn't get any of that. We did not get a reunion, and that bothers me. I have to say this. It's irritating that Black Lightning got no, and I mean absolutely no effing publicity. I mean, we barely saw promos and commercials, nothing saying, goodbye to Black Lightning, no big deal made like they would do if the Flash was leaving. Now, if they do this with Supergirl and they have like this big to-do thing about that, I'm going to be very annoyed, because then that just tells me CW that dares to defy is only doing that when it's popular. So when BLM was a big thing and they were all on board with that and blah, 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 it was a good, everybody's jumping on board to do this, this, and this. But now that, it's kind of simmered down, the struggle's still there, but it's simmered down in Twitter and the media, then CW feels safe to go back to old business, which is being stupid. So I'm just putting it out there that I don't like the fact. Now, to be fair, I know they are doing this with a few other shows, but it's like, this is the last season of Black Lightning. Why the hell were you not promoting it? Why the hell were you not doing something bigger? And why in the hell did you announce that you were not going to, pick up the Painkiller series and announce it on the same damn day that you have the series finale of Black Lightning? That's just really messed up to me. I'm sorry. I'm a little in my feelings about that. That should have been something we heard about 2 or 3 days from now. That should not have, that took away from the fact that Black Lightning was ending today. That's how I feel. That was double whammied. So yeah, something is up with that. I don't know who the hell works at CW, but I will tell you this. I think CBS still own parts of CW. So it doesn't shock me, because they treat their shows like shit on CBS too, which is why I hardly watch those shows. Because every time you get into a show, the CBS will cancel it. And then they'll leave a show on that makes absolutely no damn sense. So yeah, just put it out there. So we know I will never be sponsored by CBS or the CW ever, because I call it like I see it. I can't be that person. But yeah, I mean, again, as far as, or in terms of last episodes, this is one of the best series finales I've seen on the show. I like this series finale more than I like Arrow's season finale. Probably will like it more than I'm going to like Supergirl's. So Black Lightning literally wrapped up a lot of their story and then actually left it open for the possibility of us seeing the outsiders in the future. I'm cool with that. I don't understand the Painkiller thing again. And I don't understand some of the creative choices. And I don't understand Lopez being in this series. Because again, Lopez was a throwaway character. I don't get why she was there. I don't. That little moment of rage was so stupid. It was just so stupid to me. That whole thing was dumb. But, you know, at least she got to be in the finale. So I'll give her that. So let's see. Let's go to some of the comments. Damn, some kind of finale. Yeah, I mean, it was a good finale. I'll give you that. Hello, Job George. Yeah, and I was sad about Painkiller and Surprise. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. I really don't. I was just like, really? And I try not to get in my feelings about imaginary content. It's more of the creative choices, I think, that bother me, like what they decide to renew and what they decide to pick up. I've even heard the Powerpuff Girls, like, they didn't like the pilot for that, so they scrapped it. But instead of not taking it or accepting it, they're reworking that. So that makes zero sense to me. So you get rid of Painkiller, but you don't like, you know, PPG, but you're willing to give them another round. That I don't get that. I don't get that. That episode was lit. I agree. Both plot lies and like I said, they wrapped up a lot. I mean, this is the one time I can say they were able to wrap up every storyline. The only thing they did not wrap up for me was Gamby and Lauren. I wanted to know if they were going to end up being a couple, because I thought she would have been at the wedding. He would have invited her as the plus one. And she's just, once they found the emitter, it seems like she's just gone, even though Gamby was obviously into her and she was obviously into him. And we never saw Lauren again. She was not in this finale at all. And that's a missed opportunity as well. Hello, where you at? I live in Memphis, Tennessee. Shame about Painkiller, but maybe he shows up in a different show. I think Painkiller on Legends could be funny. I don't think they would never put Painkiller on Legends. He's like, there's some genres you don't mix. It would be like taking somebody out of Netflix's Defenders and then putting them, you know, in, just say it was DC, because I know they're Marvel, but just throwing them into like Legends. It would be too dark. They wouldn't put that in. Like, there's no way to control Painkiller, and it wouldn't be funny, because Legends is more campy. And Painkiller is not a campy character, so I can't see that happening at all. I'm okay with this series finale. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I said, it's one of the better ones. I just have those questions. Where is Kevin? Kevin's in here. This episode should have been a 2-hour series finale. I agree. I absolutely agree. It should have been a 2-hour freaking... I don't even know why it wasn't. What was the harm of it? I mean, Batwoman was a freaking rerun. You could have had a 2-hour finale. Well, not Batwoman. I'm sorry. What came on before? I forgot my Monday lineup. I forgot what came on. No, that All-American show. That's probably why they didn't do. They could have taken that off for a week. I don't watch it, so I don't know. I heard that they got a spinoff series that got greenlit by CW too. So we're gonna have 2 of these All-American shows. Lopez were crazy, and it's obvious that she is unstable and gave more empathy towards her family, because, like, she did the same thing. Yep, she did what her husband did. I really thought that Jeff would get his comic book power of Black Lightning from the radiation summit. I thought that would be cool too. I thought that's what they were doing. And then I saw him with the Prometheus. I was like, oh, that's just how they're getting him out of the ground. But I mean, he gets all powered up, got that cool ass shot. Then he pops in the Tobias and they start fighting. Like, they're like, I'm gonna hit you over the head with this glass and I'm gonna trip you, throw a chair at you. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Don't fight in the penthouse. I'm like, don't fight in the penthouse. Oh, I wanted him to have a much more epic fight. I wanted him to beat the holy hell out of Tobias, and That didn't happen, but he got impaled and electrocuted, so I guess I'll take it. I just love how Jen easily stood her ground when she saw Lopez. She was all like, "You can't take this smoke," and Jen was 100% right. She's like, "I don't like when people call me out that name like that. You called me a bitch." Well, what gets me is that Lopez is supposed to be literally the chief of police. And she didn't realize that JJ and Jen look different. They don't have the same color skin. They're not the same height. No, girl lost the braids. I'm like, okay. That was a Jen part of the DNA that ironically messed JJ up. It was a Jen part of her that caused the dumbness in the end. Yep. I'm also glad our Jen was back for the finale and that we have the Arrowverse version of the Outsiders. I want them to do something with it. We need to get more of the Outsider members and do something with it. The Arrowverse is going to miss the roster of power at the next crisis. I won't even talk about that. I mean, at this point, any major adaptation of a comic book miniseries, I'm scared. I'm really scared of CW doing, to be honest. I threw up a little bit with the engagement announcement. I was so weird. We're getting married again. I'm like, all right. The one thing that was comic book accurate was Jennifer being her sentient lightning self. Yep, it was badass when she took on the ionosphere energy without letting her get the upper hand and just... So I wish they kept the spikes though, because remember in the comics she does it, but she doesn't have a lot of control over it. She's always had control issues, like Naomi's character is gonna have. They have these badass abilities, but they don't have full control over them. But I do like that in a moment of panic, which is what happens in the comic book, or when she thinks she's about to die, that's when the stuff like goes Super Saiyan. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool. It is the most toxic relationship, and that therapist needs to be fired. I was thinking that too. I'm like, these people have called each other out their names, have said horrible, deplorable things to each other, have not really been there for each other 100%. Obviously don't care if each other is in the line of danger, especially Lynn. Lynn's like, Jeff, just go out there and be you. I'm like, okay. But they get married. I'm like, did Lynn get her lab back? Are they 100% cleared? Because I know she said that Tobias was trying to set, or somebody was trying to set them up for Tobias. So, I mean, I need to know if everything has been cleared. Are their names cleared? Are they cleared? So I needed this, guys. I needed this, like, this closure, and I don't have this closure. So I don't know. Like I said, great episode, but I had some nitpicks. I can't help it. The therapist probably works for Tobias, to be honest. What else would she know about where their relationship is at? See, I thought she worked for Tobias too. And I mean, honestly, they didn't say she didn't. So, I mean, and they never went back to her after a few episodes. Like, she was just gone. The only thing we learned from this therapist that was very helpful is that they have a toxic marriage. Lynn has a lot of issues. Her brother's name is John Stewart, and he's in the army, meaning her brother is probably Green Lantern somewhere. I don't know when they're either, but somewhere he's a Green Lantern. And she got Lynn to admit that she feels inadequate about being the only non-metahuman besides Gambi in their family. So she did serve a purpose of letting us learn stuff, but I don't know if they learned or worked through anything. I'm not with the Band-Aids on a troubled relationship for over 20 years, and that deserves another marriage. They have horrible friends with vast secrets and resentment and addiction. Nope. I agree. That's a lot to unbox. And what was the purpose of even having her rub her ex-boyfriend's arm for that one moment when that meant nothing? You know, it made Jefferson jealous that she was being all cozy with the ex-boyfriend / lawyer. But I mean, what did it really do? There was nothing there. He's a throwaway character too. I swear the only person that wasn't toxic was Jen, and that was because she appreciated existing in her stable form. Yeah, and I will say though, Jen, like JJ, had the ability as a parent, because I'm speaking as a mother, to get on my damn nerves. I told you to sit your ass down, and you just went and did what you wanted to do anyway. That is not how we roll, especially in minority families. That you would have your little, let me talk about this. Let me bring it back down. Like, whenever they do things, and these parents don't put a knot in their A. I am not suspending my disbelief. I'm sorry. I think the CW is just going to pick up one minority fighting show, so they gave us Kung Fu. Okay, this is what I think happened. They're like, let's see here. We got Superman and Lois, and Superman is got powers. We've got Stargirl, we've got the Flash, and we have 2 people that are white, or 3 people that are white in Legends of Tomorrow. So we got our 4-show quota. But we can't have Batwoman, Painkiller, and Naomi. That's 3 black-led shows. What is wrong with you? And now I heard that the Tom Swift spinoff has not been greenlit either. We don't know what's going to happen with that one. And he's black and gay and a lead character. And they might pass on that too. And if they don't pass, then we'll know because they got Tom Swift, that's why we couldn't have Painkiller. Because that would be 4 black-led shows on the CW at one time. Can't have that. That's Dare to Defy. It is no secret how bad the relationship was even before, but especially after the ASA. And plus, Lynn is literally the catalyst for a lot of stuff that went wrong with every season. She always made something. She experimented on something. She was working for the ASA. She did so much damage. Lynn literally did more damage than Tobias did. That is the truth. I mean, I will stand by that. I love that they had a beautiful and brilliant black woman as a scientist. But then they made her character so effing destructive. So it's like, it's so hard. Impaled like a whale. You're right. He got Moby Dick. That fight scene had me rolling. I was like, what is this? After that Painkiller episode, really choreo time? I'm like, I know they're older actors, but I'm like, come on. I don't know what was happening with that. Lala just inherited the kingdom, so Cartel and 100. So that's who the outsiders will be contending with for Freeland, which is way easier than well. True. I mean, Lala is hard to kill. He keeps coming back, but he usually has human people with him. So you're right. God, this sucks so much that Painkiller is no longer going forward. If this isn't a gut punch to the stomach, and the fact that they announced it, on Black Lightning's series finale, that I don't know why. I mean, I still am flabbergasted. I have no idea. Anissa has main character insurance. Yes, she does. Anissa has Black Panther level suit. I mean, nowhere near Shuri level, but the G brand, the Costco version. I know Destiny will literally pull the rug from under Lala in no time. I just know it. Yeah, I don't know where because Destiny's gone too. Tobias ran her. I don't know what's happening. The thing that was missing was the family's reaction to old Jen coming back. We only saw TC's initial the OG Jen return. We did not get to see the family do it. I don't know. Also, the thing with the 2 gens was so sci-fi. I was not expecting aliens. I like when she's like, it's her, both of them are like, it's hard to believe there are aliens up there. And TC's like, and they're watching us. I'm like, yes, they are. Val has minority sense. Was going down and she got the heck out of Dodge. You're right. She probably did. She's like, I'm Asian. We're getting beat up too. So I'm out. Kevin Jones. I agree. Probably being dealt by Jen, considering she's the only one who could more than likely use her powers. And because even the meta dampeners couldn't handle Jen's smoke. How come they didn't? I said this in the last review, but I should stop saying this. But why didn't Detective Tupac Shakur, as I'm going to call Hasheen, why did he not grab those bracelets to begin with? If he put the bracelets on them, they could use it whether the emitter was working or not until they could find the emitter. Nobody in the whole damn show thought we need one of those bracelets. Nobody did. Crest and China shared no scenes together this season. I know. They're not allowed to. Not allowed to. Not even the last scene. I'm pretty sure that was China's body double. So what is up with that? Was there some drama between her and the father? Was there? I don't know. Huh. I would like to know what actually, I know what she said. She wants to do like documentaries, and she's a woman of faith. So she wants to follow her passion and do things that mean something for her and not just do these Hollywood projects. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I do want to know, was there more to it? Did something happen on that set? I really want to know. Note to them, which makes me wonder if Cress Williams has something to do with China leaving the show. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm really confused on that. And if something happened behind the scenes that we don't know about that actually led to Black Lightning being canceled. The lack of Black Lightning promos sucked. Yep. The CW did this show so dirty at the end. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, CW prioritizes stuff that does not make sense to me. I don't get it. After the JJ reveal, things clicked so much into place because there was like subtle differences that are now glaring in their personalities. Like, oh boy, JJ was in Nasa Khalil type or Earth Metal. Yeah, there was a lot. Though I will say, though, I still really did like the actress that played JJ. I thought she did a really good job of impersonating Jen, especially since we don't even know if this woman even, met China in real life. So I thought she did a really good job just coming in at the last minute. I thought that was cool. So no Black Lightning and Painkiller spinoff. That blows. Yep. They did this show dirty. Something had to have happened behind the scenes. I mean, I'm wondering. I hated Lopez with a passion. Everybody did. Although according to one article I read, the Painkiller spinoff is not going forward on the CW, but it could have. They're trying to see if they can get it on HBO Max is what I've been seeing. But I mean, they have to put it on HBO Max. And essentially it is still Warner Brothers. So I mean, if they pass it on the CW, I don't know if they passed on it because they wanted to bring it over to HBO Max. Though I watched the hell out of it if they did. I like the setting. I like the sci-fi. I like that whole sci-fi element of it. I think it's really cool. What did they renew in place for Painkiller? So they passed on Painkiller. We are getting Naomi. She's also DC Comics. She's OP as hell. Also has problems controlling her powers. Kind of reminds me of Lightning a little bit. I think she got established back in like 2018 or 2019. So she's a relatively new hero in DC Comics, but her show is greenlit. So we are getting, bare minimum, we're getting season 1 of that. But the other shows that I'm seeing are basically the right now, the spinoff of that All American show about the football players and dealing with whatever, because I don't watch it. And I think they're still doing Powerpuff Girls, but they didn't like the trailer or the pilot. So they've scrapped the pilot and they're using the same cast. And apparently they're having someone come in and rewrite the whole thing and redo the whole thing. So they get a second shot. And I don't know why Painkiller did not, because Painkiller has already proven that he's badass just by, the little time he's spent on Black Lightning this season. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Could you do a quick recap of the finale? I have no way to watch it, and it would be cool if you tell me. I just did one. So rewind, and you will see the first 20 minutes of this, basically of this stream is a recap. Me just kind of going through and talking about the elements. But basically, overall, good episode. Jefferson was buried alive, used Prometheus to get out. They were able to destroy the emitter. Everyone got their powers back. Tobias got impaled. JJ was an alien imposter, or basically an entity from the ionosphere that took over the real Jen. And Jen was able to get her body back. Jen defeated JJ and defeated Lopez, who had taken the meta booster last episode, in like 5 to 10 minutes. Grace and Anissa got remarried. We did not see Lauren anymore. Jefferson and Gamby are retiring. Jefferson and Lynn are getting remarried. We may get the outsiders because basically Lightning, Wild, and Thunder will be working with TC. Khalil got the kill order out of his brain, which means he will no longer kill the Pierces, but he cannot remember them anymore, especially Jen. Jen is back in her feelings about her dad being the only one that remembered her. Everybody kind of apologized or half-ass apologized. Lynn apologized to Gamby for blaming him for, Jefferson being Black Lightning all of these years, and Lala is back. Did I do a good job? That's my summary. I'm like, that's a super condensed recap. Now, if you want to hear what I was saying, it's the first 20 minutes of this stream. If I get one more episode of Nancy Drew, I'm going to scream. After this cancellation, I'm going to have a BSM sign in front of CW headquarters. I mean, seriously, I am so effing tired of Nancy Drew. Oh, my God. I keep watching it because I want to see just how they screw it up more. It's like, what is happening in this damn... They have established, though, that there's only one Black person in the whole town, and that is Nick. Let's see here. I was underwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed except for with the fight between Tobias and with Jefferson, because I felt like the choreography with that was just not good. I really feel like they could have done a hell of a lot more with that. But I mean, they got their happy ending. So like I said, it's one of the better series finales that I've seen on the CW and Arrowverse, because like the one for Arrow, I didn't like the Arrows except for Diggle finding the green ring, which apparently is going to cause some issues now. I didn't really care for the series finale of Arrow. So, but I definitely did like this one, and I'm still probably going to like this better than Supergirl's, but we'll see. Let's see. I did like how Jefferson drew power from the Earth. Yep, he drew power from the Prometheus underneath the Earth. But yeah, Lala's next stop, Smallville. I'd love to see that. The final fight with Jefferson and Tobias was supposed to mirror the fight with Kingpin and Daredevil at the end of season 3's finale. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like, literally, it looked like two kids that were fighting over toys, and they were like flipping stuff around, like furniture around. Because like Tobias literally took a glass and hit it over Jefferson's head, and Jefferson took a bottle right back and smashed it over his head. And Tobias tripped him with a chair or a footstool or something like that. And I'm like, this was the most ridiculous fight. It was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. Painkiller and Naomi crossover will never happen because we aren't going to have Painkiller unless they let Painkiller come. Well, I think if it follows because remember, we don't know a lot about Naomi in the comics. I don't even think she has a full backstory. So something's going to happen in her town. It's going to cause her to go investigate, basically, I guess is linking her into all the different multiple Earths and stuff like that. So I don't know the whole premise, but I guess she's either going to travel or she's going to try and investigate other heroes. I don't know what this entails. But she is like, she's kind of like, for me, she's kind of like a cross between Monica Rambeau and Shazam in a way. I mean, she doesn't turn into somebody else, but she has the same like durability and super strength that Shazam has. I wouldn't say Kryptonian level, but she is an Omega. So, but she also has a lot of the powers that I'm used to seeing with like Monica Rambeau. So, yeah. Did I miss this Naomi thing? I think she's had her own comics, but you see her in the Justice League. Like I'm not as familiar with her too. I only know a little bit. She's been in a bunch of like crossover comics, but I don't think they fleshed her out. It's kind of like when America Chavez first showed up, how they didn't really know a lot outside of her being from the Utopian Parallel. So they were kind of making her shit up as they went. I kind of feel like that's where we are with Naomi, because she's a relatively newer character. Like, I really think she came about, and you have to Google this. I think late 2018, early 2019 is when her first comic came out. So she's not a hugely known character as it is. The only thing is, I think she's more popular among minorities because she's a Black superhero. And, there's very far in between in DC Comics. So that's cool. Jefferson and Lynn need a better therapist. Need some shot callers. Lynn became like 3 different types of addicts on the nose of Jeff and her family. Obviously, there is an issue. She has an addictive personality. Yep. If the CW told people behind the PPG live action reboot that the pilot was bad and want them to rework it, then it was definitely bad. This definitely doesn't look good for the show. I know, that's really weird. I mean, but normally they just turn down. If it's something they don't like, they just don't, green light it. They're giving them another chance. I don't know what that's about. So I'm disappointed there's not going ahead with Painkiller. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like it's bad. I really do. It would be interesting if Lynn and Diggle were siblings. Yeah. If he was another version of Jon Stewart, that would be awesome. Naomi is officially coming to the CW. Yep. This season took all their problems and made them more than present. I agree. Like, I do like the fact that we did get to see them. Well, I guess I'll put it this way. I kind of feel like if out of all of the Arrowverse shows, even though Lynn and Jefferson were toxic, they were the most realistic married couple. Because you see all these other married couples, they have like a little fight and it's just like, oh, you're not talking to me. Oh, well, I'm going to go sleep on the couch, or I'll stay here. Or like when Iris and Barrett get into it and she like storms off, or he like gets mad and gets in his feelings. And then like by the end of it, they're both apologizing to each other. No, in Black Lightning, Jefferson's like, you're a damn addict, so screw you. And she's like, well, you're a bad dad. Like, you let your kids run around while you sit on your ass. I'm like, that's how married couples fight. Now, I don't fight with my spouse like that. We don't have powers, and our kid is grown, and we don't really have a reason to be that toxic. But I know I have friends. I have married friends who do fight like that. So they in your feelings, in your face. You get mad and stuff comes out. So it is more realistic. It would have been cool if they revealed that John Diggle was her brother because their stepdad is General Stewart. Yep. Now she's making it seem like that her dad is her real dad. So I don't know. Ray, get ready to drink. But no, I really think that her actual father was a general, because she said her whole family is military. Both her parents were in the military, and her brother John was also in the army, basically. And we know John Stewart was in the army before he became, Green Lantern. So, I mean, they made it seem like it. What about the Shadow Board? I might have missed what happened with them. They weren't in it, because after last episode, Tobias was like bowed to the king and killed one of them. And that's the last we saw of the Shadow Board. And so now that the king is dead, who knows what's happening? Do they even know? Who knows? Blurred's in the Hood today, there was an interview with Cress Williams, which he stated a possible guest appearance on The Flash. Okay. You're like my Norman, and at Approaching Nerd is like my Wendy Williams. I need you as part of this show. Am I like Wendy Williams? I don't know if that's a compliment, because sometimes she gets on my nerves. I'm like, so I don't want to be compared to Wendy Williams. I want to be just real. I just want to be real. I don't want to be like saying shit just to be at ratings. I want to be real. Who is Naomi? Did I sleep on this? Who was she in this show? She wasn't in this show. She is a separate DC Comics superhero. She's not involved in Black Lightning at all. We were just talking about the fact that her show got greenlit today. Tobias would be back to square one if it weren't for Lynn helping him. Yep. On trillion%. They decided to not go forward with Painkiller. Yep. Google Naomi McDuffie. Yep. That's her comic book name. I really thought TC had a thing for Jen, but I still think he is a queer character. He might be bi. He could have a thing for Khalil and Jen. It's possible. So Jefferson just left Tobias impaled and didn't bury him or nothing. Any government could show up and take the body. You know what, Mercenary? I was thinking that when I watched the end, but I don't know why I didn't put that together. But I guess, you know what? You're right. Because like they had the wedding too. They had time to have a whole ass wedding, and he's still on the roof impaled. That's funny. Well, there you go. Well, I'm assuming that maybe the timeline for Tobias being impaled and Lala finding the body, maybe that timeline was that night. And, when Jefferson left, before they came and retrieved the body, Lala saw that. And so that, that's why, how we said it's probably a timing thing. Maybe it's an out of sequence scene. So that actually happened right after Jefferson left and he saw the body. That's what I'm choosing to believe. I'm choosing to believe they didn't leave a dead man on the roof and bailed that damn long, but you never know. And Lala returns. He is the ultimate baby's kid besides Gamby. Shakur needs his damn job more than giving them those bracelets. No, see, this is my problem. He was making on the sly these calls to Black Lightning's phone. He could have told Lopez, yeah, girl, I'll take some of these Metaboosters and some of these bracelets, and then took them and went and gave him the Black Lightning and said, this woman's lost her damn mind. You might want to hold on to this. And then staged it so that he got attacked and someone took it. And then, nobody's going to believe that he gave it to a metahuman. I mean, he could have done something like that. But instead of just saying, no, I refuse. I don't want the bracelets that I could give to Black Lightning them so their powers won't be affected. And I don't want to take the meta boosters away from you that you may use, which I don't think you should. I'm just going to go and tell people about it. That's basically what's going to happen. I thought we'd see Grey Digger again before the series was over. So did I. I mean, maybe they couldn't get Wayne Brady to come back for reasons. I don't know. I love Lala Anthony. Her show is amazing. I I need to look at Lala Anthony. I thought Grace wanted Freeland to protect itself. She didn't want her powers back just a few episodes ago. Now she's one of Freeland's main protectors. Kind of a 180 right there. Well, I think she explained that, and I get it. I mean, you got to understand that Grace was a victim of sex trafficking and was not able to ever control her shifting for a very long time. And she realized by being with Anissa, who is literally always running the fight, because she's an activist, she's always wanting to fight. Like, she's bored when she doesn't have a cause, that they're always going to be attacked. And now that they're married, she was like, we're never going to have a normal family. And she's right. I mean, hell, Jefferson was buried alive. But I think when she didn't have her powers and wasn't able to protect herself and her wife, and she got them back, she says, oh, it feels good to have the powers back. She came around, but she still made some valid points. Just like when Anissa wanted to go tell all those mothers that their babies had their metagenes taken away. And she's like, why would you traumatize them when there's nothing they can do about it? Let them live happy lives in ignorance. Don't let them be like me. So I think that's why she was like that. All of Grace's stuff is from trauma. Anissa and Jen didn't have that trauma with powers. They got their powers out of nowhere, but they don't have trauma like Jefferson does and like Grace does. So that's what I think about with Grace. There's definitely something going down behind the scenes on this show. I really want to know. I really do. Like, I don't even think I see Nafissa Williams and China in each other's pictures or Instagram stories anymore. So, and they're supposed to be friends. So I don't know. Something happened. Lopez was so weak compared to the power she got. Nissa could have literally knocked her out with a single clap. Yep. Hell, you go over there and just flick her forehead. Like, Black shows matter, CW. This is what happens in the 90s with UPN and Fox after building up its audience. Yep. Arrow got a better send-off. They got a better send-off, and it sucked because I just did not like their finale. So does this mean that Anissa's going to take Jefferson's seat in the Arrowverse Justice League? She can't find that. I'm like, nobody wants that. I wish Geoforce would have come back. Yeah, Geoforce would have been cool. There's a lot of characters I think they should have brought back from the pods. But at least we got to keep TC. I truly think HBO Max wants Superman and Lois. And they can have Superman and Lois. They can. And they can take Painkiller too. They can take Stargirl. I mean, we can improve all these. Hell, I'll even watch if they did Legends of Tomorrow and put it and gave them an HBO Max budget, and just call it, the DC Power Hour. Just do something or like or Power Block or however the well you want to say it. But I mean, hell, HBO Max is already footing the bill for Superman and Lois on CW, and I think Superman and Lois will not ever be canceled. Like, they will leave, but they won't cancel that show. I was not expecting the JJ twist. I honestly thought she was a young memory of Jen that got separated from the entire Jen. It did seem like they were split in the two, but technically they were split in the two, but it was just an alien or like an entity with no form. So technically she was split into two people using Jen's DNA. I feel like they're going to use Jen's suit and special effects on this Naomi show. That is possible. Let's see. I love the show. It was so different than any other of the Arrowverse shows, and glad to be able to see the show end so amazingly. I agree. Stay whelmed. It makes sense that Jennifer was live and still there, because Jennifer, like Marvel Comics, Monica Rambeau, is sentient energy, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only transferred or contained, which is what's happening to OG Jen the whole time. I agree. I like when Monica Rambeau became immortal, though, for a while. So, I mean, if Jen gets that, it's cool. But even in the comics now, and when they have like little snippets of Jen in the comics, she still does not have full control over her abilities. That is her weakness. She, for some reason, it's more of a fear of having control of her abilities that's always hindered her. And also, her and Anissa do not get along very well in the comics either. The Pierce family has issues. And in the comics, Jefferson and Lynn do not get remarried. They are divorced. So it's interesting. Tobias looked like old lunch meat at the end, like the kind you forget at the back of the fridge and find when there is new life being birthed. Ray, that's gross. You look like a whole slab of souse with a little bit of old country ham, some Vienna sausage, and potter's meat all smacked into one. I feel like the fight was a cop out. Black Lightning is way more powerful. This will disregard the suit. His head and hands were exposed. Electrocute this man, not the super suit. I agree. It's grabbed by his brain. But he was trying not to kill Tobias. He has a code. He should have restarted the code after he killed Tobias. Well, they did what I wanted and killed Tobias, so I can't complain. But is he really dead, though? I don't know. Stargirl and Naomi. I would like to see a crossover between them. That would be really interesting. I read up she is from another Earth that is superpowered and sent here to escape a crisis event in Earth to live on our Earth. Now, what's so interesting about Naomi is that right there, besides the superpowers part, is literally Iris West story from DC Comics. So I think it's interesting that somebody's getting the storyline because Iris was from the future and was sent to the past to protect her from some stuff that was going on by her scientist parents. There was no Joe West. So like that, all of that was changed for the show. I'm glad Jefferson didn't make Lynn team leader just because she was sleeping with the lead cop, despite her major contribution to the entire Arrowverse left. She knew her place. You leave Iris alone, Ray. It is not her fault. Look, if they didn't make Candace Patton team leader, they wouldn't have given her a role. And remember, it was a different showrunner at the time. So even Candace Patton herself said she wanted Iris West to be basically the Iris West of the comics. She was basically Lois Lane. And they wouldn't let her. I mean, the girl didn't want to have extensions and hair pieces. She wanted to use her natural curly hair. They wouldn't let her do that anyway. They let her do that in one damn episode. Even now, they still put weaves in her hair and extensions in her hair or straighten her hair. So that girl don't have any control. I feel bad for her. I feel like Iris was character assassinated since season, like half of starting with half of season 1. They started character assassinating her. In the lab being Shuri of Arrowverse. Oh, you're talking about, hey, the actress for Shuri is getting a lot of heat too. I'm done with you, Ray. Lynn was the greatest threat to Black Lightning and the Outsiders. If they would have given her time, she would have been the greatest threat to the Arrowverse. I'm like, she is a mastermind. Tobias was a monster, so most likely Lala took care of the body. But I worry about Lala because when he touches stuff, they end up living inside of him and then are reborn in some way. I don't trust that. We will never see the return of Wayne Brady. Not necessarily. I mean, I guess Gravedigger could actually appear on another Arrowverse show. Just as a guest or whatever. I don't know. Here, turned down the meta boosters. That's why she took it instead. So it would lead straight to Shakur if they suddenly have it. Yeah, and that's my problem. He turned down the meta boosters when he should have been strategic and thought, if I take this with the bracelets, I can get away from her crazy ass and give it to Black Lightning, and they can use the bracelets to use their powers and keep the meta boosters away from her. And that's literally what I was thinking. But I get really frustrated when they don't think on the same level as me in these shows. I'm like, all this bad stuff is happening. You're giving me a solution right here, and I'm not going to take it because I don't want to. I'm like, I'm disappointed Gravedigger didn't come back. Everybody is. It would have been cool. I would have loved to see in a showdown. I would have loved to see Gravedigger fight Ishmael and then also fight, well, we know he's going to fight Jeff, but take on Tobias. That would have been interesting. Grace doesn't want a divorce more than she's going to put on that cat suit and get her ass on the street. That she's going to do. Thunderclap. Right? I don't know what to do with you. Making Oliver Spectre give me a bad taste. Yeah, the Spectre was not Spectre. I don't know what's going on with that. Did you hear something about the deal for Disney to buy DC? I read something about it trending today. I hope not. They do not need to own Marvel and freaking DC. That would be crazy. I will miss having a show that had certain characters and stories that were relatable to me and my various communities. I agree. Maybe Naomi will be there. I mean, we'll get something out of Naomi, and we do have representation in other shows. Like there are all shades in Kung Fu. It's not just an all Asian show. There are a lot of different flavors in that show. So we do have that. Jennifer literally survived the end of the multiverse. They were tripping if they thought a subtle layer of the Earth's atmosphere could kill her. Yeah, she was just kind of hanging out. It would have been perfect for Painkiller to have the showdown with Tobias, or at least tag team with Black Lightning and no Khalil and Jen reunion. CW did us dirty. I do really wish they had had that moment. I wish when TC had said, "Are you, I could come back. You don't have to make the decision now." Khalil said, "I want to see Jen one more time," and then they had this moment, and then he did it. But I think for times, let's be real, we don't know that they didn't film that. That could have been something that was filmed, just like the reunion of Jen and her family. I think honestly, it got cut out for time. I think they cut out a lot of stuff that they should not have cut out. So maybe if they have like an uncut release, we'll get or when we get the Blu-ray, it'll have the deleted scenes, and maybe that's one of the scenes. That's what I'm telling myself. I may just be giving CW a lot of props that they don't deserve, but that's what I'm telling myself. She should have known when she took the Irish role that the ethnic swap, they were commercializing the hell out of the role to make it more digestible to their target audience. I don't think she knew a lot, because remember, Candice Patton was not in the comics. So she probably didn't know a damn thing about Iris West until she started reading up when she was doing interviews. Then she started questioning, why am I not a reporter? Why am I not doing this? So, I feel bad. I never blame the actors for the choices of the writers and the showrunners. I guess Wayne has to keep those Whose Line checks coming. He was on a bunch of shows. I don't know. He's been doing a lot of stuff. I like your commentary at Joe George. You are invited to the cookout. You are invited to the cookout. Job George. And George, you got a job, so you're invited to the cookout all the time. Bring the food. I'm like, some of us in this place. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't want to miss anything. I don't think I left anything out from the finale, but I mean, like I said, my wish list about Jen having the reunion with her family, her getting to see Khalil again would have been nice. Lauren being, but I still think it's sad to introduce a woman into Gamby's life, make him have like this kind of redemption arc with her for betraying her, have Lynn say, you're basically part of the family, or, any friend of Gamby's is a friend of ours, and then never see anything about her again. It's like because Gamby's like, I'm retiring. Why wasn't she at the wedding? It was, she helped them find the emitter. She knew that the family and Lynn's family was metahumans. Why didn't they invite her as Gamby's +1? So he had a date to the damn wedding. Like, we never saw Lauren again. I would have rather have Lauren back with Gamby and have that closure than seeing Lopez over there trying to, I don't know, power down the city like a damn idiot. I feel like the Charmed ones are way older than the Perfecti, and they don't want the sisters to know that. So the Perfecti want to make it seem like the sisters' powers as ancient as they truly are. I mean, there's been in this universe, it's crazy because there's been a lot of Charmed ones, and apparently the Perfecti have killed them all. So the lineage of the Charmed ones is probably much older. But again, for me, the Perfecti are basically a spin-off of the avatars from the OG series. So anything's possible with them. Who takes a role without doing research on it? She's not Angelina Jolie. Everybody. I am a voice actor. I take all kinds of roles. I've been in hentai. I've been all kinds of stuff. I had no idea what I was in. You know why? Because I'm Poe and I want money to pay my bills. And that woman lives in LA, and I know how expensive California is. So she was like, give me a job. I mean, you have to understand, these actors go through pilot seasons. Well, they literally audition for every show their agent puts out there. They don't know half the time what they're trying out for. They're just girl B, girl C. It may not have even said Iris West. It could have said Susie Be Good. We have no idea what they gave her on those character sides, because the same thing happens in video games and a lot of times happens in anime. You don't always know what you're trying out for. You get like a part with a few lines, not even a picture half the time, and they make it, they determine based on your tone in a voiceover audition if they like you or not. And it's not till you get cast you're like, oh, I'm in this. I can't tell you how much stuff I've been in. I have no idea what it's even called, because I got cast that way. So that, I mean, that's how it works. That is how the acting world works. I like the passing of the torch from the elder team to the new team, but I wish Lynn could have had a protege as well for the next generation. Yes and no. Protege for brilliance in science, yes. Protege for being the most destructive character in Black Lightning, no. No. The reboot of 4400 have main black leads. All American Homecoming spinoff went straight to series, including Naomi. CW renewed a lot of POC representation for the next season. But we're talking Arrowverse. Like, I feel like because we got Naomi, they didn't take Painkiller. I want to see the pilot because we saw the episode, which I took as kind of a pilot in Black Lightning, and it was badass. So I want to see why this pilot was so bad that it was passed on. That's what I want to see. You can't bring no new non-MV factor chick to a wedding that is expensive. Gambi can bring her to it to go back. What? Number one, they weren't eating anything. I saw food. Nobody was eating anything. They had some champagne. Gambi's got money. Don't think Gambi does not have money. Somebody's paying that electric bill. And he could pay, and I'm pretty sure she ran a whole division. She got cash. She don't need, she could have brought her own doggy bag and pick up the goods. No, she could have helped pay for the wedding. I was so mad when Lauren's not with the family. Her and Gambi would have made an adorable couple. They would have had Latino looking kids. I know, I don't understand why. And even the actor, I remember before the season even started, and they were DC was doing all those interviews. And they did the Black Lightning cast. And I remember that Gambi's actor said, I want to have a romance this season. And he technically did. But then they didn't do anything. There was no carry through. And I was like, why? You made it all the way to the last. She was in the last episode. We almost got it all the way to the home stretch. And then you just leave her out. But I mean, Khalil was only in it for like, 6 minutes? So I don't know. I thought my neighbor was a voice actor, but it turned out she just needed to see my therapist to get an adjustment. True story. The Nicki Minaj voice impressions weren't impressions. Ray, I'm going to need you to get your own comedy show. That's what I'm going to need you to do because you were funny as hell. Is a pandemic, what? A person there is a pandemic and there was no, oh wait, what the heck did their face mask go after like 3 episodes? You know, I'm beginning to wonder about that too. I'm starting to see that in a lot of shows. Like those masks are going away. But see, we still live in a society that believes just because you're vaccinated, you are cured of COVID. And that is not the case. And like literally people believe that they never have to keep that mask on anymore. And it's not helping that the CDC is saying, oh yeah, fine. You can just take your mask off. I'm like, okay, we're going to see how long that lasts. Because before there was a vaccine, people weren't putting their masks on. And that's why we got to this point. They were not social distancing. People were still on airplanes and living their best life in the middle of a pandemic. And now you're basically telling people that are vaccinated that they can take their masks off in certain places. But how are you going to keep account for the people that aren't vaccinated? And how do you know this? Are you going to have somebody at the front of Target and all these other box stores like screening people saying, let me see your card. Let me see your vaccination card. They're not going to do that for the traffic they have in these stores. It's just stupid. So now this is imitating real life. So that's what it is. I bet they're going to reveal that mitochondria Eve, the first female human who all women descend from, was a charmed one, had 2 other sisters, and together they became the power of 3, or the power of 23andMe. I could see that too. That would mean that the charmed ones have existed for at least 300,000 years, and maybe from Africa. That makes sense. But this was all like filmed last year, right? Maria, you in the industry, this was all done like last year, right? And released way later. So like, not necessarily, because I remember they shut down production for a long time. I remember like, I think Anissa had actually posted in January or February on Instagram that they were wrapping up season 4. So that was this year. So they had a whole 3 or 4 month break of doing nothing on the CW, which is why all the crossovers were canceled. It's sad because I think if it hadn't been for COVID, I don't know if Black Lightning would have been canceled. I know a lot of shows probably would have been canceled, but I think we would have got more crossovers, before they decided to end Black Lightning. So COVID screwed a lot of shows up, a lot. And we know that Charm was still filming even after season 3 premiered. So their whole schedule is crazy. Legends of Tomorrow just wrapped up this season 2 weeks ago, because Katie Lloyd on her Instagram was like, we're done with season 6 finale, and then she had flown home, and that was 2 weeks ago, and we're on episode 4 of season 6. So I mean, they're not always done filming when they premiere a show, which I always thought was a little dangerous, because what if something happens to one of the actors in the middle of you filming? You don't get your whole story out. So I don't know. The power 23andMe hollering Maria common habit. Macy wishes she would have just done that, so she wouldn't be stuck fighting for her demons and magical STD for her boyfriend. I mean, there's truth to that. There was a lot of truth to that. Let's see. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Sometimes I do, because I'm old, and old people, they literally can't see. It's really true. Let's see. I think I actually have caught up with every one of these comments. What? I'm doing great. I am doing great. So question, which is non-Black Lightning related. I'm doing my Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous review. Would you guys prefer that as a video, or would you prefer that as a live stream? So let me know. Should I do the review, the Netflix Jurassic Park animated series at season 3 as an actual video, or do you want me to do that as a live stream? So let me know. And to answer your question, Ray, where is the river spirit? Right there. Right, I'm sitting right here. You want to pop in and just wave and say hi? Come here, babe. River worked today. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
So yeah, River's always very close to me, mostly at all times. Love you so much. Let's see. Hi, Nicholas. A plot with finding out Mitochondria Eve was a charm one would be an amazing storyline. That would have been just a line with the charm ones, but also Macy, especially because she's a geneticist and would nerd. She would nerd out on that. I'll give you that. Maria, your skin is popping today. You're looking good. Is another little approach to nerd coming our way? She is working, I think. Well, she might be off. She works for Apple support. Don't call her. And she like so she works from home and it's a call center. She's a supervisor now. She's a supervisor now, so she has her own team. So like she's always busy. So that's why you don't see her on my channels, because she works long hours. Hey River, turn on the AC. Baby, you probably should turn on the AC because it's. Oh, is it? Oh, we have it on auto, so it hasn't popped on yet. Sorry, Ray. Out knowing that the women's science wish they knew more about once she had her powers. I think you should write up a treatment for this and then send it and see what they say. Just submit it. So wait, you mean to tell me that Painkiller wasn't picked up for a season and we got Naomi just out of nowhere and we're handed the poor baby to the CW? Oh, hell no. Nicholas, you are my guy who remembers everything. Eidetic memory. Am I right that Naomi has only been around since like either late 2018 or early 2019? I'm pretty sure that I'm right on that, but let me know. I know you know. Like, that's my favorite tagline from your show. What, good vibes? What? Wait. What's the what tagline? What tagline? Let me know what I said, because I don't know. I'm old. Oh, the turn on the AC and baby, I'm hot. Baby, I'm hot. Yeah, that's marriage. That is marriage. Let's see. I feel sad. This is literally the very last ever Black Lightning live stream that we will talk about, unless DCEU cast Black Lightning in a movie or throws him in. I mean, if they did it Injustice or whatever, and we have Black Lightning or Jefferson Pierce recast for that, which is so weird. We have literally no Black Lightning to talk about him. That is so weird to me. I hate that there's a limit on how much I can send on these chats, because I nerd out anytime I think of something about the show that's discussed. Well, that's what the comment section is for. You just post to your little content. So we're going to have a Black Flash now? Yes. Well, technically, no. I'm gonna say this because I gotta rep Ray, my biracials. If he is Bart Allen and he is the son of the Flash and Iris West, and he is biracial. Bad Ray. But and yeah, we gotta well, I mean, and then we also had Wally. Wally is supposed to basically be, both of his parents in the show are black. That's not, he's mixed in real life, but I think his mother, he's Australian, his mother's white, and his father's black, but Wally West technically is a Black Flash. So let's see. This is a major letdown. Impulse crossing over the Outsiders and Painkiller would have been off. That would have been really cool, but that would not happen. Incredibly late, but I'm glad I made it for the finale. Yeah, and I did a recap, a mini recap, and I did the main one in the first 20 minutes. But overall, Geronimo, I really, really liked the episode. I talked about what I wish they had done a little differently throughout the stream, and now we're just answering questions. Naomi was only around at the start of March of 2019. Okay, that was her first appearance, and we are just throwing her into the network hell after the travesty that was Black Lightning. We're doomed. See, that's what I thought, and I don't think that we really picked apart her backstory. So I think they're basically going to be making a lot of stuff up and taking a lot of liberties in the show, depending if they get with the creator or not. I don't know. I hate that they made Bart Allen the son of the Flash. Can't y'all just bring their grandson already? I know. Where the hell are Dawn and Dawn? It's so weird. Naomi was only around at the start of March. Okay, we already did that one. Jeroni, I held my church finger up, though. Thank you. Please like the video, guys. Let people know I'm acceptable in life. Because if you don't, YouTube and Google, they don't understand that. So much appreciated. I think Barry is going, and they definitely won't give the lead to Wally. So I think Barry might be a good baton to pass to. I mean, Bart. To pass to, and he can do cameos until he returns, maybe a break. I can see that. I know that Grant Gustin is tired, and he's married. I think his wife's pregnant, so he may want to leave the show. I don't know. I mean, Cisco's gone. Harrison's gone. The Wells are gone. I don't know. If they're showing Bart Allen as Barry's son, they better show Jenny on this when they show Barry's grandson, Bart Allen. I mean, let's see what they did with Wally West. I mean, Linda was dating Barry. That's really effing weird to me. I still don't understand that. Has China actress come out with anything by chance? Not that I've seen. She's doing her own thing. She's doing a documentary. She's doing, she literally is doing her own stuff. So it might be a minute, especially if she's funding it herself. They're offering Flash a large sum of money to stay, but I think he wants to do new characters before it's too late. Well, if he decides to sign on, we'll see. Greed will take over. They even scrapped the Brazilian Wonder Woman show. Really? Wow. I don't know what's happening, guys. I don't know what's happening. I know HBO Max has a new Batman series. They have a new animated Superman. It's like My Adventures with Superman or something like that, where Lois and Jimmy's black. And then we have Lois with a really short hair, and they're all teenagers. And Clark, I think, is a teenager, all cub reporters or whatever. It's really weird. It might be okay. I'm not trying to hate on it, but I just think that's interesting. So I know they're doing a lot of animated stuff on HBO Max. I don't know what else. I know they're casting the hell out of Green Lantern right now, which I'm okay with. But outside of that, I have no idea what the hell DCEU is doing. To be honest, I really don't. I skipped one. I'm sorry. That poor baby is screwed because I know Ernie already did a review of what was currently out about her, but I'm generally scared of what's going to happen because I know she has some minor ties to the Titans. She also has a lot of ties to the Justice League and Young Justice. So yeah, they have a lot of potential to screw this up. A lot. Jonathan Braylock from Astronomy Club would become a perfect Don Allen. He looks a lot like Grant Gustin and is a biracial actor. I have to look at that. I will have to look at that. Because the girl that played Excess was from Black Sails, which I love that show. And she's mixed in real life. And I thought she actually was a very good rendition for a biracial daughter between Barry and Iris. But like I said, I don't know what they're going for. Until it comes out, we don't know. And then it may be really good, and then we'll be in danger of losing that one too. Wally is most likely to be in Cisco, and Cisco left out the problem for Linda. I blame Jesse Quick for this. Yeah, that whole. I just can't. I just can't. So what's happening in the Berlanti verse? Is he about the burn the Carter down? I don't know what the hell is happening. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I literally look at all the Marvel news and all the DC and DCEU move and Arrowverse news, and I literally have question marks. Like, I got so put off by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not being considered MCU canon that, especially with Coulson, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, when I think about connectivity, you know, the MCU has been very good about connecting all the shows and the movies. Even the Netflix shows were connected to the MCU. And now we got Kevin saying, no, they're not. And I'm like, that's bullshit. You're not going to tell me that WandaVision is the first canon TV show. I call BS on that whole situation. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Be with Cisco. Maria, you need to get on the GL show. I do need to be on there. I do, but I can't play one of my favorites, which is Jessica Cruz, because, you know, I'm not actually Hispanic, so I don't want to take that for somebody who is. No hate to Charm girls who are playing Hispanic, half Hispanic, and they're not Hispanic, but I'm not going to do that. HBO Max animated Smallville, you say? Yeah, pretty much. Except, well, I guess technically Lois did come to Smallville for a little while, which never happened in any other continuity, but yeah. There is, I'm trying to think if I can find it. It's a brand new show too that they're talking about. Nighttime, but it's Superman animated series. It's supposed to be premiering on HBO Max, and I saw it. Superman animated series. My Adventures with Superman is what it's called. Let's see if I can pull this out, and I will share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Because I just saw this earlier today. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I mean, okay, here it is. Share this. So this is what I'm talking about. My time with Ship. So you see how they look. I'll see if I can make it bigger. So we got this like really like, I don't want to say butch, but she definitely is not like the Lois Lane we're used to. There's Jimmy Olsen and there's Clark. So this is the brand new Adventures with Jack Quaid lending his voice in the Tiller. You know, he's from The Boys as playing Superman. And it's based on the characters from DC. My Adventures Superman follows the adventures of Superman and Lois Lane. The animated series features 20-somethings Clark Kent. So they're in the 20s, sorry. The bright and driven Lois Lane, played by Alice Lee from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, and their best friend Jimmy Olsen, as they begin to discover what they are and everything they can accomplish together as an investigative reporting team at the Daily Planet. So they're kind of like, basically they're revamping the origin story with how they met at the Daily Planet, I guess, is what they're doing. And, you know, I mean, it looks cute. I don't know. It probably will. I mean, I was okay with both versions. I like Spectacular Spider-Man better than I did the Spider-Man animated series with the guy who played Drake and Josh. But no, I like the show, and I think I'll probably like this one too. It's fine. Let's see here. Okay. Somebody said the Bart Allen poster for The Flash gave them Wonder Pet vibes, that I can't unsee it. Yeah, they're not taking very flattering pictures of him. I will give you that. Secret Circle was my favorite for her as Melissa. Huh. The Secret Circle, the witch show for L.J. Smith. I actually read those books when I was in high school. Tobias is definitely a chaotic being. Yes, but so was Lynn. Lynn is definitely a chaotic being. Okay. Move down. Oh, that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. burn was a sore spot for me too. Yeah, I was pissed. I was like, you are not going to do that. I'm sorry. That is bullshit. That entire show was literally a baby of the original Avenger, our Phase 1 Avengers. I don't understand why you were literally sitting here telling me that that was not canon when we had Nick Fury had a cameo. We had like a few MCU characters came through. And yeah, some of the people we just pulled out of the Marvel comics, but we had a few that came in that were crossover characters from the MCU, and they were basically on the same timeline, in the same Earth. It doesn't make any damn sense. Kevin just lost his mind. That's what that is. Can we all agree that DCEU are non-existing, especially at the fact that their main focus is to combine everything in both movies and TV series and a multiverse instead of a cinematic universe? I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what DCEU is doing. I mean, they make a really good Joker movie, not canon. We know that Shazam technically is in the same universe as the Justice League cast, but now we have a brand new The Batman, and he's younger than Wonder Woman. So like if you have the Batman and put it in with the Wonder Woman or with Wonder Woman, it's going to look weird. After seeing her with Ben Affleck and then seeing her with Robert Pattinson, it's going to be weird because she is older than him. So I don't know what they're doing. And now we got the Flash, and we have an aged version of Batman, Michael Keaton. So of course it's Flashpoint, so that makes sense. And I don't know if he's actually going to be Bruce or if he's going to be Thomas Wayne. If they do it right and it is Flashpoint, it's Thomas Wayne. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a thing. The TV and movie side divorce was nasty. I agree. I don't know. I think Kevin and all of the execs from DC all need to go into counseling, because Kevin's done a pretty good job with the phases so far. But I mean, that decision does not make any sense to me. And I watched it in Way Off the Rail from the MCU. Wait, S.H.I.E.L.D. did so much time travel stuff they can't be canon. That's not necessarily true, because there are tons and tons of Marvel characters that time travel. America Chavez. Like, time traveling does not negate your ability to be an MCU character and be canon. And you're going to learn that in the new Doctor Strange movie. I was hoping that we could see Lady Eve's dark, seedy business associates, because I thought we could have got Council of Spiders and the Cobra Cult for Painkiller and give us some minor leeway into, I know what you're going to say, into the Miles verse, like characters like Icon, Rocket, probably not my husband, Static, Virgil of it. I forgot you're married to Static. Congratulations. Yeah, they didn't have time to flesh it out, unfortunately. Maria, you should play any role you look like you can be cast, and that will make your Scarlett Johansson or Tom Cruise or Matt Damon Great Wall situation. I don't know. I just feel like representation-wise, Jessica Cruz is a very powerful and very troubled Latina X character, and I think that a Latina X actress should play her, and not me, who is not Latina X or Hispanic at all. So that I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. We would have had TC as a Richie Foley parallel that dropped some threads to my husband here and there. I could see that, actually. I really could. My Adventures with Superman, ripped from the headlines of Crisis on Infinite Earth, maybe, and What the Devil Does Jimmy Discover? I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, at least okay, to be fair, none of the characters have to be a certain race. Like, nobody said Kryptonians were all white. Nobody said Lois had to be white. You know, it was just that way because back in the day, nobody wrote about main minority characters. So him being like Jimmy being black is not anything new, because he's black in Supergirl. Or he was black in Supergirl. So it's fine. I just don't know what this show, I feel like it's going to be campy. It's going to be like Disney's version of Spider-Man with that Drake guy as Peter Parker. It's probably going to be just like that. Same animation style and everything, which is fine. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm going to watch it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Will Smith is pulling heavy levers to get Jaden in DCEU. And if he does, I wouldn't be mad at a static situation. Well, I mean, it depends on what our boy Michael B. Jordan wants to do. Yes, that series. I liked Secret Circle. I also like the Night World. I wish they would actually have done something with that. And I feel bad for LJ Smith because she created the Vampire Diaries, but because she didn't have an exclusive contract, they basically outed her out of her own series and got ghostwriters. So that's why the books and the TV show don't match, because they took liberties and changed everything. So if you read the Vampire Diaries, the actual book series, It predates Twilight and all these other ones. As a matter of fact, there is a scene that I was told, because I don't like Twilight, but there's a scene where like the two main characters that meet in the classroom in the Twilight movie is almost the exact same way Elena and Stefan meet in the book series. And that came out in like 1992. So yeah, things you learn, man. We could have gotten the Blood Syndicate with Painkiller and some characters that showed up in the 3rd season of Young Justice. There's a lot of characters they could have introduced. I mean, I wanted the rest of the Outsiders. I think it would have been really cool. Agents still stopped being canon after like season 5 or so. I mean, even if they did their own thing, to actually negate all of it is a problem for me. That is just a problem. Yeah, Lady Sif was in season 2. You are absolutely right. She came up off the beach. I remember that. Once they start messing with time so often, they are on different timelines. Agent shows like Inhumans left for DCEU. Yeah, I need to watch the Inhumans trailer. I think we got a teaser. I need to see what that's about. Whenever I look at anything like Inhumans, Eternals, anything, now I'm comparing them all to Jupiter's Legacy for some damn reason. That's bad of me. Don't do that. I don't know if it's just me, but Kelly Olsen bodies as the Guardian more than her brother because he sucked. Like his fight scenes gave me sympathy for Carr's at the time unhoned fighting skills. Yeah, she's military too, right? I think Kelly was a medic in the military in the show. I don't know. I have to go back and look and see what Kelly did. But yeah, I agree. I think she is going to be pretty badass. But it's just sad that she's finally getting this. And the series is about to end. So it's like, you get to be cool for 3 episodes. Go, girl. What'll happen is her and Alex will be the new superheroes because Brainy will go back to the future and rejoin Legion, and he'll take a Dreamer with him. And God knows what Supergirl's going to do. And then so they're going to need team heroes. And then it's just going to be Alex and Kelly. Maybe Marshall will stick around. Maybe him and his girl will go off and do their own thing. Who knows? Maybe they'll build Watchtower and stay in space. Who knows? I'm curious to see what the DCU Supergirl and this Black Superman reboot will look like. So am I. I am very curious. Season 3 is when they start dividing the ABC TV and movies in prep for the Disney Plus arm. Plus, Kevin Feige and what's his name got Queen Brownlow with each other. Oh, Lord. So much drama. It's so much. There's more drama behind the scenes than around the movies and the shows. Freeland sure has bad luck with its mayors back to back. I know, right? At this point, DCU and W are just creating a lot of projects and just want to see which ones will stick. They've been doing that from the beginning. I am against this Black Superman. There are so many Black characters. They don't need to rip a traditional character and origin swap them. Yeah, I mean, we have a Black Kryptonian, our Superman. I don't know. Again, all of this is just not even important because if they're not all in this canon universe where they're connecting all of these characters, it doesn't effing matter. The DCEU literally reminds me of a bunch of orphanages with a bunch of foster kids that are running around and sometimes they see each other and sometimes they don't. But at the end of the day, they got to go back to the orphanage and none of them are being adopted. That's literally that's what it is like to me. It's like, cool. You got a pass to come out today, but you got to go back because I'm not adopting you. That's literally what it is. I'm sorry. The woman who played Chief Lopez is what I would picture how Jessica Cruz would look. I don't know. I actually think Jessica Cruz should be played by the girl on Legends of Tomorrow who plays Spooner, whose last name is Cruz on that show, and whose mother was kidnapped, who we all think might have been Jessica Cruz, even though technically Jessica Cruz a lot younger than the character would be if that's her mom. But I do like the chick that plays Spooner, and I think she would be very cool as Jessica Cruz. There's a lot of actresses, really pretty Hispanic actresses that I think would be very cool for Jessica Cruz. I haven't put a few of them at the end. I think I put one at the end of my spotlight video. But at the end of the day, as long as she can pull off the PTSD effectively, because that's what she has PTSD and anxiety disorder, and it's believable, and then is still able to be really badass as a Lantern at the same time, I'm completely okay with whoever they get. You better be on Wakanda cast list autograph. You know good and well I'm not going to be on Wakanda's cast list. Do you know why? Because they are not colonized. I am too light-skinned to be in Wakanda. I'll visit if they let me, but they're not letting me in their door. Spider-Man Unlimited should be live action. I agree. So should Batman Beyond, but we've been saying that for years. There hasn't been a good Superman movie in forever, so I'll give anything a chance. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of problems with Man of Steel for the most part, but there were parts of it where I was like, what? Like I said, it's a thing. It is a thing. I don't know what's happening with DC. The Vampire Diaries is one of the times that I like the series way more than the books. Depends on the books. Like, I like the original first two books, but when the ghostwriter took over, because that's not L.J. Smith anymore, that was very problematic. It was very, very problematic. Glitter vampire that looked like a Hollister catalog. Shaking my head, how far have we fallen? Whenever I think about the scene they played in the preview where he was like, "This is who I am," and he opened his shirt, I was like, he just used all of Walmart's Crayola glitter. They're never going to recover from that. I don't understand. Was that supposed to be threatening? I'm confused as hell. And plus, I don't understand why these vampires don't have fangs. That they're not technically then vampires by definition. They're zombies. That's just me. I need a live action Invincible. Marvel or DC wouldn't be able to compete. DC, if DC did Deceased, that would be a very big competitor for Invincible. If they did a good Deceased run, or they decided to do the Batman Who Laughs and did it right, that would stomp all over Invincible. The Black Superman won't even be in the DCU. It's going to be a one-off story. What is the point? Give us someone that can be around. All their stuff that's getting really good clout is all separated. It's stupid. It's all stupid. I hope a crisis they'll change Kara's backstop up a bit and give her military training and excel like she did in the comics. Beyond Krypton went klabooey. Well, if you look at Superman and Lois, it's actually Kara that made Kryptonite X by accident. So, I mean, they didn't even put that in the story in the Arrowverse. Why couldn't we get Icon or Rocket instead of who can actually be around in the universe? Oh, I would love to see an Icon and Rocket. Rocket is sassy, but that's not going to happen. What happened? There was an entire island on Krypton where the royal race of melanated people were. It was in the 70s. Well, there had, like I said, and if you look at in Kandor, they had a ton of every nationality Krypton. I don't know why. I mean, they don't have any backstory. The problem is, back in the 50s or 40s, I think it was the 50s, it might have been the 60s actually, there's an episode or issue of the comic where Lois Lane wants to know what it's like to be a black woman, and she goes into this machine and becomes black, and then Superman's like, I don't want to touch that. And it's not until she goes back and the machine becomes white again that he wants her again. And I'm like, I don't know what they were trying to achieve with that issue, but all it showed was that at one time or another, Clark was a dick and racist. Wait, wasn't Krypton an aristocracy? Yes, they were. But I mean, Krypton seemed to be, if you really think about it, Kryptonians really didn't seem to be likable people. They seemed to be assholes. They didn't even like each other. Like even Jor-El, like the way they would talk down to each other was just interesting. And then we started learning about different caste systems within their, on the planet. So let's just put it this way. Kara and Kal-El were not from poor families on Krypton. I like Man of Steel, but could have chosen better threats. I agree. Adam Eve is my favorite comic girl character now. Yeah, everyone's telling me that they like Adam Eve. I'm gonna have to see this because I need to do some more spotlight videos. So that might be, again, I have a little list of people that I want to do, but make sure in the comments to put below who you would like me to do a spotlight video on, because I just want to know. They were a former aristocracy. A council led them before the boom. Yeah, they also, like I said, it depends on who writes Superman, but they've had a lot of different lore for Krypton. Krypton actually had, in one comic that I was reading, there was like an entire slum. Like it was almost like looking at like Bengali, and you see like one side where there's like all these rich people and the other side was just people living in poverty, or like parts of India. I don't know. It just depends on the comic book writer. Oh, Bloodwind, Rocket, and so much more. I haven't seen the Krypton show, so it may have changed. Krypton was definitely a little different than that. It was a little rip of how Wakandians were drawn in the 70s in that Black Lois comic. Yeah, that was messed up. It was messed up. Yeah, apparently Superman doesn't want a Black Lois. He probably does now, but The girl who plays Lois in Superman and Lois, I loved her in Grimm as Juliet. But I don't know what it is about her. It's like, I know she just had a baby, but her face sometimes from an angle looks like it's sinking in, and it makes me worry about her. I'm not trying to, I don't do any of this weight shaming things either, or it's just that's how her face looks to me. So sometimes she looks kind of attractive, and then sometimes she looks like her skin is falling off. I mean, I know it's weird, but that's how it looks to me. Bakara was a preteen when she left her planet. How could she be? Krypton works on a caste system, so she was a soldier or a scientist because her parents were each from different ones. Yeah, well, and some though, both her parents were also scientists. So it depends on who writes it. Like they revamp everything. It's like when they put Clark in little jeans and a farmer's strap, before giving him his suit when the New 52 like premiered. Like it just depends on who writes the comic. And they all like to change the lore and the background of everything. Like I'm reading America Chavez, a comic right now where they're basically saying that she is not from the Utopian parallel. That was all a science experiment because she has a disease and that she has a sister, and they were experimenting on to try and get rid of the disease and implanted with memories of this whole utopian society that doesn't even exist, which is kind of crazy. So complete revamp of her story. She still has the same, mothers, but they're both scientists working with this mad scientist to try and fix their daughter. And apparently they have 2 daughters. The way you said is the way my twins pronounce it. Random fun fact. I had a British mother, a Scottish mother. So my pronunciation is all over the place because I actually grew up from the time I was born to the time I was 10, 8 or 9, 10, I had a British accent. And then people made fun of me when we came to the States. So, but every so often I will like slip in and some words will just happen. And so I mispronounce names. I mispronounce words, especially American words, because I had a Black Native American father from the South and a Scottish British mother. And they messed me up. They messed me up. My mother pronounced things in her native tongue, even in America. She would call items in our house how they would be referred overseas. And then my dad would come behind me and say, no, this is how we say it in the South, not in America, in the South. So yeah, I'm effed up. You have to get used to that. RIL, I think you meant RIP, Black Lightning. I know it's sad. I'm going to really miss Black Lightning. It was one of the best Arrowverse shows. They should stop. They should, instead of saying subatomic particles, they should say Eves instead. I agree. It's called RBF, and sometimes it just looks that way. Gotcha. I just Googled Sunshine Superman. I need a Superman with an afro now. From the 60s during Woodstock. Let's see. No, in the comics, she probably has access to training in order to defend herself because there were so many Phantom Zone prisoners who could have targeted Kara because she was a member. I know what you were going to say. The House of L. I agree with that. They totally retconned American Chavez's story and made it weird. It's definitely, I'm only I think they just released the 3rd issue. And I'm just like, what the hell? Their entire bag. But I will tell you this, it's believable. So I got to give them credit. But I'm like, really? Utopian Parallel is not even real? I don't know how canon this is, if this is something they're sticking to, but it's messed up. The Kryptonians are taking our names now. Exactly. I'm glad someone noticed. Let's see. Pip, bloody hell. Levi song. What is wrong with you, Ray? My godmother is Scottish and I'm from the South. So you understand. You understand. I'm so disheartened that we are getting this Black Superman. When we literally have other Black characters that deserve their time in the spotlight, like Bumblebee, Icon, Technique, Hardware. I mean, I'm down with Icon and Rocket. I'm gonna be real. I think that would have been very cool because they are very good characters that are not used a lot, in my opinion. But I have no clout, so that's how it goes. No clout means no judgment, means no calls. But okay, I think so. We're at what, 1 hour and 43 minutes. Around a couple more minutes to answer questions, statements, and blah, blah, blah. Also, please let me know if you want me to do a Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous. If you watch the show, season 3 review via stream, or do a actual video and post it. If Charm Reboot started a comic book series, they should partner with Dark Horse or even DC Comics. I like Dark Horse because, I mean, unlike people that are Legend of Korra haters, I did not hate Ruin of an Empire. Turf Wars was a little weird, but Ruin of the Empire, actually, the Kavira redemption story technically was very cool, except for the fact that I didn't understand why they had her in a jail with metal cuffs when she's a metal bender. But other than that, I really like what Dark Horse does. I like a lot of their titles, so I would be down with that. Maria, I love Scotland. There can be only one. This is not the Highlander. I'm like, we don't all have to be Duncan MacLeod. Besides, my families are McGregor, so they're fine. I don't think my mother's family. Yeah, she was the only one in her family to ever come to the States, and it's only because my dad was military. So no one has ever left Scotland in her family in generations. So her whole family, born and raised in Scotland, they all live in a place called Kincardshire, which in a town called Cove Bay, outside of, well, technically in Aberdeenshire. So in the Highlands, the actual Highlands. I'm gonna miss getting the clap from Melissa each week, or getting the sizzle from Jeff. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna miss too. I appreciate how real they made the Pierces, dysfunctional and toxic as hell, but they represent a lot of families. They're not the pseudo TV family that just all gets mad and then apologizes 5 minutes later and has Brady Bunch moments. So I do like the fact that they did that. I don't know. I love the fact that we had Anissa and Grace, and there was no whole like big slew around. Oh my God, 2 women together. Oh my God. It wasn't a thing. And so I like that. And they kept it canon, and they ended up getting married. And I like that. So yeah, it's a thing. Korra would be such a cool character on Injustice 2 or 3. Her Cypher move would be so cool. I could see it involving her controlling the weather and creating thunderstorms, which sure will in her Avatar state. I would effing love that. Well, I mean, we're getting Avatar Studios, so we're going to get more Korra, and we're going to get more of Aang, and maybe Kyoshi and some of the others. So we'll see. I am super down with that. I read a lot of Avatar inspired fanfics, so I'm completely down with that. Last question or comment. We could have a mixed Captain America, Sam Wilson situation with Celia Forrestal, but with the creation of her own tech, working on average salary. I would love that. I would love to have somebody making minimum wage, kind of like Wave. I would like, because your Wave had a minimum wage job. I would really like to see something like that. That would be very, very cool. I would be cool with that. All right, guys. It is now 11:17 p.m. my time, Central Standard Time. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We will have more fun tomorrow night because it is Arrowverse Tuesday. So we have Legends of Tomorrow, we will have The Flash, and we will have Superman and Lois to talk about on our stream tomorrow. So yay, that should be fun. Unless I get a storm in my area that knocks my power out, everything should be on schedule. So we will be at same time, 9:30 Central Standard Time tomorrow should be when our stream starts. If you are in a place where it is late at night on, let's see, today is Monday, then I'm sorry I kept you up so late. Have a good night. If it is Tuesday morning for you, have a good day, and I will see you tonight, technically. Maybe Wednesday, since that will be probably Wednesday night or Wednesday morning for you. But either way, love you guys. Let me know in the comments, though, what you want to do in terms of the Jurassic Park. If you're into the animated series on Netflix, let me know if you want me to do that as a video or a live stream. Because if so, I'm going to set that up. If not, I'm just going to make the video. But we will definitely have our Arrowverse Tuesday tomorrow. So we'll be talking more Arrowverse crap tomorrow. So I will see you then, and have a very, very good night. Bye, guys.